She writes the music, which is the soundtrack to their lives. She has far more control than she lets on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is she a malevolent force?
I think she could be.
Yeah.
In this film, instead of his only concerns being, should I sing or play basketball, and can I possibly do both, is it, can I keep my friends whilst pursuing my future? He needs to get his head back in the game and forget about singing. But there's this one character, Kelsey, who is the uber shipper of Troy and Gabriella, and what brought them together is music, and Kelsey is very careful to engineer scenes in which Troy can be brought back to music and back to his original love of Gabriella. So I would argue that Kelsey is in fact kind of the crux that the plot moves around. She doesn't really have a plot of her own. She is the catalyst who makes sure to manipulate the plot so that Troy ends up with the girl the film obviously wants him to end up with, which is Gabriella.
So really she kind of represents the man and capitalism in lots of ways, because she manipulates individuals into conforming to what it considers to be the most appropriate path.
Yeah. So
despite what may be in Troy's heart.
It's true, because the whole film is about, every single one of the High School Musical films is about Troy going, should I follow what I want or what society expects of me? But he's not really sure what he wants. He's young and he's got all these influences. He's got school and his dad, who is also the coach, and he's got people from the musical world, which are represented by Kelsey, because she is the main one who says, no, you should sing, you should forget about basketball, you're so good at singing. And he's so torn, and in fact I think if he followed any one of these he wouldn't be being true to himself, because really, who is Troy? The central theme of the film turns out to be capitalism. There is a song about this. What are the lyrics? What do they say? Is it like, I've got to do the work?
We gotta work,
yeah.
work this out. The kids realise for the first time what the adult world is actually all about.
Exactly.
A lot of pointless toil.
Yeah.
On fairly low status in society, serving these rich elite holiday makers.
Exactly.
And it's like the crushing moment when they realise what their likely future is going to be.
Yeah.
And now, what's Troy's role in all of that?
So it's Troy who gets everyone the job. Everyone's really excited to have this summer job because they're going to get some money, and they know that money is the key to all their dreams. But then they go to the resort and they see Gabriella and Ryan and all the other rich people just kind of lounging around, not having to work, even though they're their peers. And then Troy, who starts off being one of them, working in the kitchen as a waiter, as a caddy lad, he, because of Gabriella's preference, no, not Gabriella,
Sharpay.
Because of Sharpay's preference for him, he ends up being promoted for no reason, while the manager tries to make them all quit at Sharpay's insistence because she doesn't want them to be there. And so Chad starts singing this song because he's suddenly realizing how terrible the working world is, and Troy, from his point of view as someone who was just offered this job, just offered a promotion, is very happy with it all, and he's like, no, we've just got to work, that's just the way it is.
So he kind of becomes the boss figure, the one who benefits from the system, but tries to perk up his underlings.
It is very obvious as an adult who the most relatable character is. It's the manager of the resort, who is just caught between a rock and a hard place. He's got the rich people on one side demanding that he follow their every whim. He's got his slight shred of humanity left where he wants to be kind to his staff and kind to other people. And he's got his mortgage and his kids, and he is just really struggling with the world of work, and he's just got
He has to perform a lot of emotional labour.
He does.
In some of the early scenes.
Yeah.
With the Evans family. And you can see the conflict and the difficulty behind his eyes.
Yeah. I think he's actually the most real and well-developed character in the whole High School Musical canon.
I agree, yeah. No, I totally completely agree with you.
It is so gay. Like, I getting me articulate out of this, it's just so obvious. I Don't Dance is the song that comes about because Chad is completely adamant that he will not dance. He does not do theatre, he does not do music, even though we saw him dancing not only earlier in this film, but through the entirety of the first film. And Ryan, as resident theatre kid, is like, hey, Chad, you know what? We could be a thing. And that's the song. Sharpay and Ryan are always portrayed as the antagonists, particularly Sharpay, but this is Ryan's scene where he actually maybe gets to redeem himself. He ends up taking Troy's place with the Wildcats as they play baseball, not cricket. Baseball. They both got sticks. Baseball. I know sport. It's a completely left field subplot that just, like, where does it come from? Why are they playing baseball? Did we know they were going to play baseball? It's like, I've seen this film twice now and I still don't know why they were playing baseball. The fact that Ryan takes Troy's place is significant because the Wildcats are going from the person who's been their friend and teammate for years to someone who plays for the other team, the theatre kids, and they're realising that maybe they have more in common after all. While it may seem like I Don't Dance is a love story, a forbidden love story between Chad and Ryan, I guess it's forbidden because it's Disney, it is in fact a mirror of Troy's internal struggle. The fact that they become friends at the end of this song shows that, in fact, Troy will eventually realise, after 3 films of the same struggle, that he can unite both his passions. But the fact that they change clothes at the end mirrors the fact that Troy is someone that people don't recognise anymore. He's changed. Baseball, dancing, same game. It doesn't matter what he chooses, the world is still cruel. It's interesting to look at who they're mirroring, because you might think that they are mirroring the love of Gabriella and Troy, but it could in fact be Troy and Sharpay. Gabriella doesn't really have much of a character of her own, and when you look at it closely you can see that Gabriella and Sharpay exemplify the virgin whore dichotomy. They both have 2 different types of femininity. Gabriella's is the subdued kind of femininity that does what Troy wants. She's perfect, she sings, she is a lifeguard. She's successful as a woman by modern standards, but she doesn't do anything to go outside her boundaries or make anyone question her validity for success, whereas Sharpay has much more of an actual character. You pointed this out to me, that she is in fact far more interesting because she has a goal that she strives for throughout the films, which is getting Troy to love her. It is a very typical goal for a girl in a film, but it is something that she worked really hard for. And so her femininity is portrayed as aggressive and kind of scary. Like Troy is taken to a cave where she sings him a terrifying love song. She has pink golf balls that she almost kills people with. So she is the whore in this dichotomy, and it's very obvious that she's not meant to be the one that Troy ends up with. But I have had a lot of people say, like you, that the songs that Troy sings with Sharpay and with Gabriella are the same song, but Sharpay's versions are much more interesting. Which one do you think they are mirroring? Troy and Gabriella or Troy and Sharpay?
I think Troy and Sharpay, because it's the one that society frowns upon, but the one that perhaps would lead to Troy's, stepping outside of the boundaries that he's created for himself.
Chad has a girlfriend, but like, can you remember her name? Yeah, so I guess Ryan and Sharpay are like the forces that try to mess things up.
The disruptive forces in the film, but that could potentially hold salvation for the characters if only they would allow themselves to go for it. However, there's a certain disillusionment in not choosing that and choosing the correct path.
Ryan's dad, every time he sees Ryan, so Ryan will wear his hat like at a jaunty angle, and every time his dad sees him, he's like, and just straightens his hat. Every single scene, and even at the end, when they're doing their final number on stage, Ryan's dad sees him from the audience and just like does this motion and is like, straighten your hat, lad. And it's something that it's not commented on, and it's done in a very kind of jovial fashion, and so it's very easy not to notice. And I think it's a representation of how some of the ways that society gets you to do what it wants, how Troy is manipulated into following the path that has been set out for him from birth. So much of it is this subtle manipulation that is just shown as like, oh, I just care about you, oh, I just want you to look good. It's actually quite sinister. The culmination of Troy's journey in the song Bet On It. Now I know this isn't the end of the film, but this is a central piece which brings together the subplot between Chad and Ryan and its meaning for Troy's inner journey. He uses a lot of the same metaphors. I don't want to win the game
if I can't play it my way.
Yeah, I don't want to win the game if I can't play it my way. And that's interesting, because it's kind of on the one hand, it's saying it's not worth winning in life if you're not being true to yourself. And on the other hand, it's kind of saying, like, if I can't load the dice, am I really gonna win? Like, would you agree with that? It's a
I think it shows the kind
metaphor.
of futility at the heart of Troy's struggle, because he knows he's never going to be able to play it his way. He's not accepting that he's never going to be able to play the game his way.
Yeah.
Because he's always going to be controlled by outside forces, and the game is the same whichever way you play it. So he's holding on to this last scrap of hope that he can actually influence the game and how it works.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, Troy's quite a naive character.
Yeah.
At this stage.
He is.
And he hasn't... And does he ever fully realise the truth?
It does kind of feel like he is just following the path that has been set out for him, but he is manipulated into thinking that he's chosen it himself.
And that's what capitalism really does. It makes you believe that you're in control of your destiny.
Yeah.
And, it's all up to you. You just got to go for it.
And then Kelsey, again, Troy chooses to sing with Sharpay in the end after he's rejected her and said, no, I'm going to go my own way. That's Gabriella's song. I'm going to go my own way and follow my heart, and be with my friends and let them sing with me. But then he feels sorry for Sharpay, and so he says, no, I'll sing with her. But then Ryan and Kelsey have concocted this plan where they say, oh no, she's chosen a new song at the last minute. So at the last minute, he's forced to learn this new song, and in the end, it's not Sharpay who comes on stage, but Gabriella. And who knows what would have happened if Sharpay had come on stage and got the ending she deserved. She's really quite a tragic character, because she's not even allowed her own redemption. Ryan got it, but she's not allowed it because she is the whore, and the whore must always lose.
And what about the fact that, so Gabriella does have this song called Gotta Go My Own Way, and she steps out of the whole thing. It's almost like she wants to leave the whole game.
Yeah.
And she sort of tries that for a while, tries stepping away from the whole capitalist machine. But it doesn't last very long, and she finds herself very swiftly being sucked back in and having that fairy tale ending.
Which is written and scripted for her entirely.
I mean, what does she really want? Do we ever find out? Does the film, ask that question? It's all about Troy and his psyche.
It is everything that Gabriella does is to influence Troy's plot. She's not a character in her own right.
Yeah. This is just a story about the great white men of history.
Yeah.
And everyone else is just a side character.
Mm-hmm.
And what's it saying about that? I mean, does Troy want to play that role?
Yeah. I think he wants to. He knows that it feels good to have people be proud of you, like he's his dad, and he just wants to keep recapturing this feeling without really knowing what it means. And he's going to keep doing that throughout his life. He'll probably be rich and have a nice house and marry Gabriella or someone very like Gabriella and have kids and a dog and a swimming pool. But will he be happy? And that is the fall of Troy. This week's recommendation is Unicorn, the memoir of a Muslim drag queen by Amrou Al-Kadhi. Did I pronounce that name right? I don't know, I'm sorry. So Unicorn tells the tale of a struggle much like Troy's. Amrou is a child from an Iraqi Muslim family growing up in Britain, finds it very difficult to reconcile their identity with both the country that they're growing up in and the country of their parents, their religion, their sexuality and gender. It does come with a lot of content warnings. There is a lot of racism, Islamophobia, homophobia, emotional abuse, depression, anxiety. Yeah, it's not a happy book. I hope that it brings you an understanding of the world as great as High School Musical 2 has brought an understanding of the world to me.